Hello everyone, we are discussing the problems on RPSC ACF previous year paper. So let's discuss some more problems on it. Which one of the following are the dimensions of magnetic field? So we all know there is a relation between force and magnetic field. So F equals to QVB. So by calculating the dimensions of force, charge and velocity, we will get the relation of or the dimension of magnetic field. So B will becomes F upon Q into velocity V. Here the dimensions of force are m1 l1 t minus 2, because force is mass into acceleration and the dimensions of charge is coulomb 1 and velocity is l1 t minus 1. Some terms are cancelling out. Now this t time will goes upside and becomes plus 1. So B equals to m1 t minus 2 plus 1 upon c1. So the final dimensions of magnetic field are m1 c minus 1 t minus 1. So our answer will be option second. Now let's move to the next question. A Carnot engine with an efficiency of neta equals to 1 upon 10 as heat engine is used as a refrigerator. If the work done on the system is 10 joule, the amount of energy absorbed from the reservoir at lower temperature is. So here we have to do some work in case of refrigerator. So which is 10 joule given, and here heat efficiency is given, and amount of heat absorbed at lower temperature we have to calculate. So the formula for the heat reservoir is coefficient of work performance is equals to 1 minus neta, which is work efficiency, upon neta equals to heat absorbed upon work done. So we all put the values. One minus the work performance, heat efficiency, efficiency of engine is given 1 upon 10 upon 1 upon 10, and heat absorbed by the system we have to calculate, and work done 10 joule is given. So the value comes out 9 upon 10 upon 1 upon 10. It will become 9. So I simply write it 9 is equals to Q1 upon 10. Q1 equals to 90 joule. So 90 joule of heat is absorbed at lower temperature. So the answer is 90 joule. I hope you all get it. Next question is, in a region steady and uniform electric and magnetic fields parallel to each other are present. A charged particle released from rest in this region will move on a path which is here the magnetic and electric field both are parallel to each other and a charge is moved. So in this case the magnetic field will try to make a loop and the electric field will try to move this particle in a translatory motion. Let me write it clearly. So the electric field will try to move it in a translational direction and the magnetic field will try to make the loops, because the nature of magnetic field is to move it in a circular direction, a particle, and its nature of electric field is to move it in a translatory motion. So ultimately the particle will move in a form of helix like loop, or you can say helix. So this will be the answer. In case if magnetic field, only magnetic field will present, then the particle will move in a circular direction, and only electric field will present, then it will move in a straight direction, or you can say curve like direction. But when both acts and both are parallel to each other, then they form a helix like loop or helical path. So the answer is third. Next question is, three thin rods 1, 2 and 3 are made of diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic substances respectively, are brought close to magnet. Which one is true? Since we all know that diamagnetic substances are weakly repelled in magnetic field, and paramagnetic substances are weakly attract towards the magnetic field, and the ferromagnetic substances are strongly attracted in the magnetic field. So the rod 1, which is for diamagnetic substance, will weakly repel. So rod 1 will repel, and rod 2 and rod 3 are attract the magnet. So third option will be correct. Now the next question is, internal resistance of a battery depends on. Internal resistance of a battery will depends on the distance between the plates. As more the distance will increase, the internal resistance of the battery will increase, because it takes more time to flow the current through these plates. And medium between the plates, it will also depends on the medium between the plates. If there is a high ionic medium, or you can say uh, more electrolytic medium, then the internal resistance will increase. And it will also depend on the material of the plates. If the material is highly conductive, if its conductivity is high, then the internal resistance will very low. So it will depend on all three factors. So all of the above will be the answer. And there is a formula for internal resistance is given by E equals to V minus IR. Now let's move to the next question. The force required to separate two glass plates of area 10 raised to power minus 2 meter square with a film of water 0.05 mm thick between them. Surface tension of a water is 17 to 10 raised to power minus 3 Newton per meter. The surface tension is equals to the force upon length, means force per unit length is the surface tension. So there are glass plates, we have to require some surface tension, calculate the surface force required to separate the two glass plates of area 10 raised to power minus 2. Since are two surfaces, so the area will be 2a equals to length into thickness. So length and thickness are given, so the area. Now from this formula we have to calculate the force. Surface tension is given and we have to calculate the length. So from this formula the area is given 2 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square, the area is given, and length is we have to calculate, and thickness is 0.05 mm. Mm means 10 raised to power minus 3. So ultimately the length comes out 2 into 10 raised to power minus 2 upon 0.5 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So from this we can calculate the length. Minus 3 will goes upside. I have to take one more slide. So minus 3 will goes upside and 2 into 2 will be 4, and therefore the length will be 4 into 10 raised to power minus 2 plus 3. So 40, which is in meter, I think. Yeah, 40 meter is the length. So now the force required will be force is equals to surface tension into length. So the surface tension is 70 into 10 raised to power minus 3 Newton per meter, and 40 meter of length is. So 28 Newton of force is required to separate the glass plates. 28 Newton is the answer. Next question is 1 kg of water at 0 degree centigrade is heated to 100 degree centigrade. Calculate its change in entropy given specific heat of water is 4190 joule per kg Kelvin, and there is a value of natural log is given. The formula for the entropy is change in entropy is TdS equals to du plus dw, which comes from the first law of thermodynamics. So TdS is equals to, I am deriving the whole formula for the specific heat. Since du is ncv dt plus dw, we can write dw in terms of temperature is R dt, nr dt. So that change in entropy will be Cv plus R dt upon T. So Cv plus R we can write, since Cp minus Cv is equals to R, so Cv plus R is Cp. So entropy is Ncp dt upon T. Now taking integration on both sides, S is equals to N is constant term and Cp is constant, ln T, which is from 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade. So on putting the values, 1 kg of gas is given, so we will put the value 1, and 4190, the value of 4190 is the value of specific heat, and 4190, and ln value of 100 degree centigrade final temperature is 373 upon 273. Now S is equals to 1 into 4190 into ln 1.36, because 373 upon 273 will become 1.36. Now the value of 1.36 is also given. On multiplying 4190 into is 3118, I think. Now on multiplying all these terms, we will get the answer 1.31 into 10 raised to power 10 raised to power 3 joule per Kelvin. So this is our answer, 1.31 into 10 raised to power 3 joule per Kelvin. Next question is, an AC source producing EMF E equals to E naught, this value, and connected in series with a capacitor and resistor. The steady state current in the circuit as. Now we have to calculate, there are the magnitudes I1 and I2 currents are given. We have to calculate which current is greater. So we all know that in capacitance C charge is given as Q equals to CV. So we will take E, the voltage here, and the current is, I have to take more slides. So the current is equals to C into Q equals to CV. So E, value of E will be E naught, put the whole value, cos 100 pi T plus cos 500 pi T. E naught is common term. So since we all know that current, steady current is equals to dq upon dt, so on differentiating this we will get some terms. C epsilon naught cos 100 pi will comes out 100 pi, and it becomes sine, and plus C epsilon naught, from there 500 pi comes out, 500 pi, and sine terms in the bracket. So the current, these are the magnitude I1 and I2. So I1 is 100 pi epsilon naught C, and I2 is 500 pi epsilon naught C. So from these two we can say that I1 is less than I2. So answer will be third option. Now let's move to the next question. Okay guys, I think today's questions are over. So this is the last question. I hope you all understand it, all the questions very well, and doing lots of practice on these type of questions. And in last, I like to say that thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe if you like my video, and share it to more and more people, and subscribe my channel, and take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.